Divine greetings, divine greetings. I hope you guys are doing amazing. I'm doing fine. So, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Back to Center with Sia, where it's all things spiritual, holistic healing, and self growth. So, if you align with those three things, subscribe, like, and comment. Yeah. So, today I just want to talk about, I think it's two things. I want to talk about two things, so it's not your normal structured YouTube video, because every time I get an idea, I write it down. And then on a day where I schedule, I'm like, okay, today I'm gonna write a blog post, tomorrow I'm gonna YouTube my YouTube channel, that day finish up my readings, that day create content for this and that and that and that and that. But today it's none of that. It was just, random thoughts, né? So I was talking with someone here, and it's something that's like that has been at the back of my mind. The whole concept of self-initiates. And she was telling me how she's confused, in this journey, because she feels like she's alone. And I was like, I totally get you. At first, it is confusing, but I'd like for us to move from the word self-initiate, because saying self-initiate into being a spiritual healer, it is like you initiated yourself into being a healer. You initiated yourself into being an astrologer, a medium, a psychic, a tarot reader, a Reiki practitioner. You name it. The thing is, you did not initiate yourself. It's just that, inverted commas, né? Self-initiates, there is no third party. There is no fixed mentor that's going to tell you to do this, do that, go to the ocean, go to the river, go to waterfall, etc., etc., etc. So this is just a random conversation, it's not just, there's no third party. So it's just you and your ancestors. And just because it is you and your ancestors doesn't mean that you are stronger than someone who had a fixed mentor, or you are more special than someone who had or has a mentor. Self-initiates do have mentors, but it's not a fixed mentor. You meet someone and you talk and you click, only to find out they're spiritual healer, and they low-key help you to start. They help you to start. It doesn't even have to be someone that you actively talk to. It could be someone you follow on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and you're like, okay, let me follow this person, and you keep on taking their advice. That is your mentor, but that person is not a fixed mentor. I've had a mentor. We ended up being friends, but she nudged me, to start, because I had the ideas. I know what I wanted to do. I just didn't know when to start. I wanted to have this perfect, I don't know how to put it, but I wanted to have something perfect. And so if I did not start and waited till I had something perfect, I feel like even now in 2025, I would not have started. Because it is now, that things are moving, and I'm like, okay, I am not perfect, but I feel like I'm close to perfection. Yes. So the thing is with self-initiates, it is your ancestors that initiate you. It is your ancestors that help you with certain things. The revelations, the premonitions, the downloads and everything. It is you, your higher self, your intuition and your ancestors, and not forgetting God. So you are not alone. You are not doing this alone. But because we have been conditioned to have someone here physically to help us, we're like, I'm all alone, I can't do this, I shouldn't be doing this. What are people going to say? What are other healers who took the conventional way going to say? Sorry about that. So it's a lot, but what I wanted to say, and this is what I told this girl that I was talking to earlier on, that you're not alone, and it is your ancestors that initiate you. If you're meant to be a psychic, your ancestors will initiate you into that path. God and your ancestors will initiate you into that path. I am a diviner. My ancestors, God and my ancestors initiated me. Sorry about that. Into that path. I would go into depth with how I know I was initiated into these different modalities, but yeah, at times the initiations don't even come through dreams, it's visions. It is your psychic centers. So psychic centers, it is your claircognizance, your clairaudience. I struggle with pronouncing the other clairs, but your 5 clair senses, thought, seeing, hearing, smelling, and feeling. Yes. So you can get a download, just from your inner thought. And I'm like, what if I become a Reiki healer? And you read about it. You find someone who's going to help you become a Reiki master. And you're like, the journey, even though the journey is not going to be easy, but it's easy for you to grasp the concepts of Reiki, so that's how it starts from other people. For example, with astrology, I loved astrology since primary, but I only knew about a sun sign. I don't know about your rising, your moon, your Venus placements, everything, the aspects, the malefics and the benefics. I did not know anything about that. I only came across it, I think it was in 2020. But at the time, I tried, to do a birth chart readings and everything, because I am curious about people, the way they see things, how they think, how they act, how they talk. But it was very hard for me. I just couldn't until a year later. It was easier for me to grasp the concept. So it goes back to us being a multi-dimensional beings. You're gonna get the ideas. Yoga, Reiki, meditation, human design, astrology, tarot, what's another thing? Cartomancy. Yes, I'll just mention those. You're gonna get these ideas, but maybe this year you're gonna focus on the Reiki healing, and then probably 3 to 4 years later you'll find yourself going back to the idea of you doing tarot readings, So I feel like it's not something that can be talked about in a day or in a video or anything, you know? So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Now, the second thing that I was thinking about was how most, we're going to use this word, okay? How most self-initiates feel in their journey. Feeling alone, they do not want to know what to do or where to start. You know, they're feeling overwhelmed or like, you know, they are alone, you know. And I was like, okay, I could probably talk about that because I'm not, or yes, I am a spiritual person, sorry. Yes, I do like normal things, you know. Okay, I wouldn't say normal things, but I like music, I laugh, I like series, I wanted to say I like laughing, you know. But at times, I do just want to watch something spiritual, you know. And I struggle finding what I want to watch. I think that's why I decided to create a YouTube channel, because I was like, I want to, let me talk about these things that I want people to talk about, but they're not talking about them, you know? So yeah, let's just get into it, ne? So I just want to talk about spiritual healing, you know? What is a spiritual healer? What can you do in this journey? I'm not sure if I'll make another video talking about what to do when you're in your healing journey or a spiritual journey. You don't necessarily want to be a spiritual healer or getting downloads about you being a spiritual healer, but you want to have a spiritual journey, you know? So it's self-explanatory. Spiritual healer. A healer who heals the spirit. A healer who heals your soul. So a spiritual healer is someone who helps people heal on a energetic, emotional, or spiritual level. But because of the mind, body, and soul connection, I feel like a spiritual healers, where we look at everything, you know. We don't just look at the spiritual aspect of your life. We try to see the connection between your spiritual life, your spiritual health, emotional health, mental health, physical health, you know. So that is just the basic definition about spiritual healers. So their job is to help you heal and to give you the tools that you can use to heal yourself. We are all healers. We can heal. We do have the capacity to heal ourselves. But because of the different upbringings, you know, the programming, the conditioning, we tend to put spiritual healers on a pedestal and we rely on them. We rely on them, you know, and relying on them may look like always booking a session with them, always going to them for literally everything, you know, asking them this, asking them that. You struggle sitting down with yourself, with your intuition, with God and your ancestors. You struggle with finding the answers from within. So spiritual healing is about giving people the tools to help their healing journey become easier. So, if you want to be a spiritual healer, what you can do, and this is something that I always talk about. I always talk about grounding yourself, working on your root, working on your foundation. You need to strengthen your core. You need to strengthen your identity, your ego, your root, your foundation. So you need to remove the fear. You need to let go of the doubt, the worry, and the anxiety. And you need to put yourself in a space where you feel grounded, safe, and secure. Those are my 3 favorite words when it comes to grounding myself. I am grounded, safe, and secure. I am grounded, safe, and secure. I am grounded, safe, and secure. Before you do anything, because we put spiritual healers and spiritual gifts on a pedestal, our aim is to just jump and go straight to the third eye chakra, to the crown chakra, to higher consciousness. If you go straight for the higher consciousness, even though your root is not stable, you might find yourself hallucinating, because your body is not used to that higher consciousness. I'm not sure if you get me. Your body is not used to the higher consciousness because you have been operating outside of the higher consciousness. So your body is like, okay, what's going on? So your body is like, okay, what is going on? So I like telling people that they should introduce their bodies, introduce their bodies to certain things and start slowly. So here you are, you want to be a spiritual healer, you want to be a healer, a Reiki healer, and you want to help people. So in order to help people first, you need to introduce that energy to yourself. For me, take me for example. My first modality or niche as a healer was chakra healing, and I introduced that in 2020. Yes, I introduced that energy, working on my chakras and balancing my chakras. I introduced that to myself first before I was like, okay, this worked for me, I want to help other people work on this, but it was a different thing with tarot and astrology. Yes, it was a different thing with divination. I started with other people. Yes, I started with other people, with close friends, doing free readings on Twitter and everything, So you need to introduce that energy to yourself, in terms of herbalism, sound healing, energy work, shadow work, and Reiki healing. You need to do that, so you just need to know that healing, it's a journey, it's not just about healing others. You as a healer, you're constantly growing, evolving, and healing yourself. And you need to have a practice or a routine where you are pouring back into yourself. You can't be a meditation instructor whereas you don't meditate. You can't be a Reiki healer whereas you cannot heal yourself. You can't prescribe herbs to other people whereas you are not consuming the herbs yourself. So you and your practice, you and your niche have to become one. But another thing that you should know is that you will go through moments of doubting yourself. You know, maybe in the beginning stages you will have imposter syndrome or questions your abilities at the moment. You know, you also need to work through that, and with every doubt you need to tell yourself and affirm yourself that your ancestors chose you, God chose you, and in your soul agreement, soul contract, you wanted to be a spiritual healer. You knew before you came to this physical realm that you are going to be a spiritual healer. So that there is something in you that believed in you even way before you came here. So you need to stick to that and hold on to that. Yes. And you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the answers, even if you've been a healer for like 3 to 10 years. That's why I don't like a spiritual healer that thinks they know more than other people just because of the experiences and everything. It doesn't work like that. You can be a healer for 10 years, but you can still learn something from a healer that's just starting out, that has been in the healing space for just a year, you know. Now let's get into finding your niche as a healer, what you want to do. So I could probably also do another video where I explain the different types of healing modalities, what you can tap into, you know. But you need to ask yourself, you know, what naturally calls out to you. Could it be energy healing? Could it be ancestral work? Could it be dream interpretation? Could it be, you know, herbalism? Hopefully that's the correct pronunciation, but there is no school for pronunciation. Could it be psychic readings? You know, so you need to ask yourself that. So I'm gonna keep on talking about myself because I know myself personally, if I can put it that way. How did I know? I was drawn to chakra healing. I was just drawn to chakra healing. I was drawn to energy healing, you know, working on the blockages and imbalances. And I loved how the blockages go deeper than just physical ailments, you know. If your chakras are imbalanced, it's not just that your back is aching. It's not just that your skin is breaking out because of an imbalanced solar plexus chakra linked to the gut. It's not just anxiety. Sorry about that, I jumped the gun. Yes, it's not just about a physical manifestation, it's about your mental health and emotional health. So the anxiety, the depression, and everything. A disclaimer, it's a sensitive topic when we talk about mental disorders, but I do feel like if we were to combine energy work with Western medication, with therapy, then things would get better. You go to therapy, you take your meds, you come back, you journal, you meditate, you work on your chakras, you work on your root. This is another thing that I would like to talk about, but that's another topic for another day, you know? So finding your niche is about finding what naturally calls to you. What do people naturally come to you for? That can be a clue. And it doesn't have to be fixed, because I started with chakra healing, and then I moved on to tarot. I moved on to astrology, and now I am on spiritual mentoring, you know. I am, leaning towards being a meditation instructor and a Reiki practitioner. You know, those are the main things I want to focus on this year. Yes. But here's the thing. I am always working on my gifts. I still read about astrology. I still read about energy healing. I still read about chakras. I still read about tarot cards. I still read about cartoons. I still take coaching classes, mentoring classes, be it your life coach, your relationship coach, financial coach. I am always learning every day, whether it's through research or free courses, and even meditating and asking God to give me the knowledge and wisdom, you know, working with the Akashic records, you know. And so you know what a spiritual healer is, you know what to do. The first thing that you need to do as a spiritual healer, it's working on your root. Make sure that you have a stable daily and morning routine. A weekly, daily routine, weekly routine, monthly routine. You can even have a yearly routine. Who knows? But yeah, it's very important to have a daily and a weekly routine. You need to make sure that you are stable on that. But when it comes to your higher chakras, connecting to higher consciousness, I feel like meditating, fasting, praying, reading books is enough for you to connect to higher consciousness, to connect to the cosmos, to activate your third eye and your crown chakra. I always focus on my root. I like working my way up. Focus on my root, on my sacral, solar, heart, and throat. Yes, and throat. And then when it comes to the third eye chakra and crown chakra, I just pray and use my intuition. Yes, third eye chakra, your intuition. And then the crown is your connection to the cosmos, to God, to your higher self, which literally lies on top of your third eye. So now we see the link between your intuition and your connection to your higher self. Because God is not going to talk to you all of the time through dreams or visions. You will think that a certain thought is your thought, but it's not your thought. It's your intuition, it's your higher self, it is God, it is your ancestors. And then again, it will be your intuition that tells you that this is what God is saying right now. This is what your ancestors are saying right now. Fine. So I think I've covered what I wanted to cover, starting your journey as a spiritual healer, what you need to do, but you should know that it's normal to doubt yourself. It is normal. It's gonna happen. It is going to happen. But the thing with doubt, anxiety, and fear is that we're not meant to let them consume us. You doubt yourself, you affirm yourself. You get scared, you affirm yourself. You get anxious, you affirm yourself. You know? So you're not here to prove anything, you know? You are just a channel for healing in whatever way feels natural to you. And you just need to trust that the right people will find you. And don't be scared if you don't feel ready. Don't be scared if it's not perfect. If you want to start, just start. Start with whatever you have. Start with whatever you have. You know? Example for my YouTube channel. It's just me and my phone. It is just me and my phone and Canva. I create a poster and I go to an app on my phone. It's called Movie, iPhone 13, yes. And I just insert the Canva poster and yap away. Yap, yibbity, yap. You know, I just yap away, you know. So you just need to start. You know. So community is also important when you are just starting out. You need to find a community where you feel safe to express yourself, you know, whether physically or energetically, you know. You need to find people, your soul tribe, you know. Don't expect your family to support you on this journey. But one thing about your soul tribe will help you in this journey. You know? Yeah. And so if you're scared to share your gifts with the world, you know, just acknowledge that the fear is part of this process. It doesn't mean that this is not for you. You can start small, you know, share with a friend. You know, you can start with your family, with your friends, before going public. Find a community, you know, finding other healers or mentors, you know, just a spiritual community. But also pray about the people that you meet, the healers you meet, the mentors you meet, the spiritual communities that you come across. Not everything spiritual is good. You know? There are good spirits. There are evil spirits. You know? So if you're still finding your feet and you don't know what to do spiritually, you can just read about, you know, the different practices, you know, pray for guidance from your ancestors and be patient with yourself. Do not rush it. Breathe and be patient. You know? So I think I covered a lot, and yeah, it's very lengthy. It's gonna take me days to edit because that is my least favorite part about having a YouTube channel. It's the editing, you know. But all in all, you know, healing isn't about being perfect. It's about being present, open, and willing to serve in the way that aligns with your soul. You will doubt yourself, ne? But just know that your gift is real and the world needs what you have to offer. Trust your gift, trust your calling, trust yourself, trust the process. Trust your ancestors, and most importantly, trust God. So that is it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this spiritual session. Yeah, I will call it a spiritual session. I actually don't know what I was doing at the beginning of the session, but I knew what I wanted to say. And I did not even, the way I wanted to say something, I didn't even have time to write, you know, the most important points. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna write, you know, like subheadings. I just put it out there and just look at a subheading and talk. I didn't like create a script because I wanted to say something, you know. But yeah, please share my channel, like, comment, and subscribe. You are beautiful, you are amazing, you are loved, you are divinely protected, you are divinely guided and guarded. You are grounded, safe, and secure. You attract love, you deserve love, you are love. See you in the next session. Namaste.